Hello and welcome, Maria McMahon here with you. So in this video, I'm going to talk about the final flag in the top 50 red flags of romantic predators. It's taken me way longer than I thought to get through them all because of one thing and another. But number 50 is, and it's so important, is you've lost yourself, but you can find you again. Now, I hear this time and time again from people who contact me about losing yourself. They tell me they used to be so confident and outgoing and happy, and they used to be fun and kind and caring. They used to love connecting with people, and they were always excited about life. But now, after being systematically and callously abused for so long, and when I say long, it actually doesn't have to be years and years and years. A narcissist can wreak this emotional havoc on you in a matter of weeks. So after the narcissistic abuse, regardless of how long, they feel lost and isolated, depressed. They feel joyless, angry, hurt, and in some cases, they even feel suicidal. They have little interest in anything and they're just getting through the day as best they can. And many say that they don't know who they are anymore. They feel that they've lost themselves and they'll never find themselves again. Now, even as I was preparing to record this, I had a message that came in on my private messenger. And the person who wrote this said, I don't recognize myself. My depression and anxiety is the worst. I can't function at all. I've been finding myself talking to myself for hours, or pinching or scratching myself. I'm a complete mess and I feel so alone. Now, this person is in so much emotional pain that they are pinching and scratching themselves to try and deal with the pain. And this, of course, can devolve into cutting and self-harming. What happens with self-harming is that when one is experiencing overwhelming emotional pain that they cannot bear, they cut or injure their body as a way of diverting their attention away from the emotional pain to the physical pain. And it can also be used as a form of self-punishment. So I'm such a bad person, for example, I'm going to cut myself. I'm going to hurt myself. I deserve to be hurt and punished and beaten. And this is how damaging this kind of abuse can be, that it can lead you to a level of self-hatred that makes you want to literally harm yourself. So if you're watching this now and you are feeling this and you are self-harming or you are thinking about it, please, 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 I urge you, contact a professional who can help you. There are organizations out there. There are therapists out there. Please reach out and connect with a professional who can help you, okay? Don't try and fight this on your own. And of course, I am a therapist. If you want to reach out and connect with me, then by all means do. All the links to connect with me are below this video. Now, coming back to where I was, it makes me very, very angry that these hateful narcissists do this to people. And, you know, I do believe that they are inherently evil and that they will eventually pay for their willful, vicious, malignant inflicting of pain onto good people. And I am a great believer in karma. I've actually co-authored a book about it. And karma is the idea that, you know, you reap what you sow and what goes around comes around. If not in this life, then in the next. And that's another big subject outside of the realm of narcissistic abuse. But I believe we all come here for a reason. We all come here to learn stuff, and suffering is part of that. But if you come here and you hurt somebody else deliberately, you cannot get off scot-free in the great scheme of the cosmos. You will have to pay by suffering yourself. And I believe all narcissists will eventually pay by their own suffering, because basically that's how karma works. It metes out total justice in its own way. You cannot willfully hurt another person and not pay the price one day yourself. So I really want you to take comfort in that knowledge. Now, in the meantime, I tell people who contact me that they have not lost themselves. The self they knew is still hiding inside, waiting to be found again. And I advise them, and I advise you now, if you're watching and you're feeling this and this is resonating with you, I advise you to tune into yourself and reconnect with who you are. Reignite the spark of joy and let it begin to burn again. Let it guide you out of the darkness towards that light at the end of the tunnel. Because believe me, healing starts with self-love, okay? So important. I talk about it a lot. Now, I want to ask you a question, and it's an important one. A simple question, but I bet you'll struggle to answer it. Why don't you love yourself enough? Now, I want you to pause and really think about that. You pause the video for a few minutes and just ask yourself and see what comes up for you. And then when you resume, and I hope some things have come up for you, you know, what interesting things did come up for you? This might be the first time that you've ever considered the question. So don't actually worry if it scares you or it scared you, or you have no idea how to answer it. But make a note of your response. Somewhere inside you lies the answer. And this question is planting a seed in you that you will start to grow. And it is the genesis for your healing journey to begin if you haven't begun that journey already. So you got involved with a narcissist and it was not your fault, but there was a reason that it happened to you. Something or someone made you feel that the way you were treated was acceptable. So maybe it was your childhood, and maybe you've never connected the dots. Maybe it was being bullied at school, or maybe something happened to you later in life that made you vulnerable. For whatever reason, your sense of self took the greatest battering of its life when you became entangled with a narcissist. You couldn't possibly have known what lay in store. Now, in whatever way your self-love was damaged, it's important for you to know that you can learn to love yourself enough to never accept any kind of abuse again. If your inner child is self-conscious, hurting, sad, and scared, and you can start your healing now with that seed, then start. Remember that mighty oaks from little acorns grow. And I want that little acorn in you to become the mighty oak of who you are truly meant to be. When that seed grows and flourishes, you will forever know that you are lovable and deserving of being treated with love and respect. What happened to you in the past was not your fault, but the decision to heal and redirect your life is within your control now. It's all up to you. And any day is a good day to start taking your power back and taking back control over your life. And realizing this and coming to understanding and accepting it is a very big step. I get that. I know that. But it's at the core of everything across the board of narcissistic abuse, as far as I'm concerned. If you loved yourself unconditionally and you had infinite self-worth, you would never, ever have become a target or a victim of a narcissist. In most cases, I do acknowledge that in some cases, it was just a case of you being in the wrong place at the wrong time, being just a nice, kind person who just got sucked in, just got conned by someone you really thought was genuine and lovely and gorgeous and in love with you. And that person turned out to be a narcissist. This happens too, but in a lot of cases, it's all to do with self-worth, not having enough of it, self-love, not having enough of it. Very often, as I've talked about in a previous video, it's about you having had a dysfunctional or an abusive childhood. So it's understanding yourself is so very, very important. But even if you had healthy self-esteem to start with, as I've just said, it's not always the case that you don't. It can very quickly be destroyed by a narcissist. So that's why it's so important that you rake over the coals and understand it wasn't your fault. And you need to forgive yourself as well. Something else I talk about in other videos. You need to forgive yourself because it wasn't your fault. I want to reiterate to you as I bring this series of 50 towards its close, healing is possible for you. And it doesn't have to take years. So what it requires is that you believe you can heal and find a way to really tune into yourself and make that decision to take your life back. Decide that you're done with being a victim. Decide that you're going to take your power back. And your healing will begin the moment you decide that you've had enough and you're going to do whatever it takes to start healing. Healing is a process. It's a journey. But as the saying goes, 1,000-mile journey starts with the first step. And your decision that enough is enough. And this applies whether, if you've already left the relationship, but you're still struggling emotionally with the trauma and the fallout, you have to decide that's enough. You're done with that. You're going to start moving towards healing. And the key to deep healing, as I've said, is ultimately self-love. Now, I realize that that is also a journey that you have to take, and you can't get there overnight, but you can start taking small steps towards that destination. Decide that you're good enough. Just try saying, I'm good enough. Say it several times a day. Drown out the voice saying you're not. Drown out the voice telling you lies and rubbish that aren't serving you. Decide that you deserve love. Just try saying it. I deserve love. It might feel awkward at first, but that's okay. The more awkward it feels, actually, the closer you are to the truth of what's really going on inside you. Now, decide that you are worth spending time with. Just you, yourself, and you, because you are. If you believe in a higher power, try spending a few minutes every day tuning in and asking for guidance and strength to heal. And don't give up on you. Don't ever give up on you. Don't let the narcissist take one more moment of joy from you. The best revenge you can take on a narcissist is to be happy and to live your life fulfilled. If you can learn to love and value yourself for the unique person that you are, you'll never be a victim of any kind of abuse ever again. And that is what is going to protect you and make you completely bulletproof more than anything else. And it really does start with loving, respecting, and valuing yourself. And when you reach that stage, you'll never fall into a romantic predator's trap again. Now, self-worth and self-love are cornerstones for healing from abuse. So now that I've finished the 50 red flags, it's taken a while, I would recommend that you move on and watch my short but powerful series playlists about self-love and self-worth. Because I go into aspects, more deeper aspects about how important those are and how you can start changing your perception of yourself. And, these are the steps you take to start healing. And you can do this just with making that decision and with watching videos like these that I've made for you to help you understand. You have to start with believing you can heal and just changing your perspective. So definitely check out my next series on healing with self-worth and healing with self-love. And thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next series of videos. Bye for now.